Good evening. Welcome to Authentic Expressions. My name is Mige Klim. Today's topic is saying it out loud, the power of naming your needs. So, today we are grateful for Laurel Ridge for sponsoring our program. Laurel Ridge is a behavioral health program that offers compassionate care for every stage of life. It provides personalized treatment for all populations. Their interest is to help you into your journey to wellness. There are services for children, adolescents, adults, military dependents, active duty service members, veterans, and first responders. They offer inpatient services, outpatient services, substance abuse treatment, and residential treatment. Call 210 410 491 3591 for no cost assessment. Laurel Ridge is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their mission is to save lives, heal families, and create hope. Hi, I see some familiar names already. Welcome. So I see Brittany, Serene, Santos. Welcome. Glad you're here. And I look forward to having your questions. So the topic today is say it out loud, the power of naming your needs. So, what are some needs that you like to express? What are some things that you are working on to share with others so that others can hear you clearly, so that others can respect your thoughts? Okay, while you are typing out your questions, I am going to read you a quote. Speak up, because the day you don't speak up for the things that matter to you is the day your freedom ends. So again, speak up, because the day that you don't speak up for the things that matter to you is the day that your freedom ends. All right, Brittany has a question. Thank you, Brittany, for jumping in. What does it mean if you name your needs? If I name my needs, making me selfish, uncomfortable, or guilty? All right, that's a loaded question with lots of heavy emotions. So, if we take out selfishness, if we take out discomfort, if we take out guilt, what will we put in? So, you have to think about what you want to put in so that you focus on yourself, nurture yourself, fulfill yourself. So, if you come from a place of discomfort, guilt, selfishness, or, you know, people love to use the term narcissism. So if you take those out and you put in more of a nurturing request, how will it shift the way you come across and ask questions? So, how can you ask with liberation? Think about asking with liberation. Think about asking with courage rather than through the contaminated lenses of guilt, shame, discomfort. So try to assign new emotions, healthy emotions, because whatever you ask should come from a place of, your genuine interest, that you're asking because you first have to believe that you deserve it. So learn to integrate new value system to what your needs are. Come from a place of, this is what you deserve, is to respect yourself and to ask comfortably. Rachel, good to see you. So, your question is, how do you encourage teens to speak up when they have been silenced their whole life by their parents? Awesome question. That is what a lot of teens, even adults, struggle with. So, they've been silenced, they've been shamed, they've been guilted into muting themselves. So, to how do you encourage them to speak up? First, the best thing to do is to, when they share, to give them listening ears and to be supportive and to reinforce their open sharing, because then you're creating a safe place for them to express themselves. So, work hard and be intentional about letting them know, hey, I really appreciate it when you share your feelings. I like it when you do this. I really admire you when you're doing this. So give them a lot of accolades, give them a lot of pats on the back when they disclose. And then be sure to always say, I like what you shared and I like your honesty. So to focus on what they are doing well. Because many times they share and they go, oh, I've taken up too much time. I shouldn't be telling you this. So highlight the things that you see them do and you pat them on the back for being open, being transparent, being honest, being taking care, being able to take care of themselves and trying to break the chain, the family chain of silencing themselves. So it is your job, if as an adult, as a supporter, to always recognize the small steps they take because it is what is the small steps that count. So look for opportunities to pat them on the back whenever you see them taking small steps, but positive steps towards expressing themselves. So Santos has a question. How can someone learn to express their needs after getting used to hiding them to keep a relationship going? Wow, what a great question. Yes, so there is a lot of secrecy, a lot of non deserving, like I don't deserve to express myself, and a lot of shaming that goes with that. So, to learn to express yourself is to make a decision to be honest, make a decision and commitment to yourself that it is your job to be your best spokesperson, it's your job to advocate for yourself, and it's your job to deliver for yourself. Don't just spend your life thinking that, others should hear me, others should, understand where I'm coming from. For people to understand you, it's also important that you express yourself, not shrink from your feelings or hide from your feelings. So learn to be transparent, to be open, to be forthright, because these are your human rights. These are what you deserve. So it is your job to execute it rather than to mute it or to numb it. So learn to shift the scripts in your head that it is your job to first advocate for yourself. It's not your spouse, nor your children's, nor your boss's job. So learn to speak up with true intentionality, with true mindfulness, rather than mute yourself, because historical pattern of muting only brings you more misery and more frustration. And then you go, wonder why people don't understand me. But if you don't put yourself out there, expressing yourself clearly, then people will continue to think that, okay, this person is going to be silenced anyway. So shift the dynamics, make yourself visible by asking. When you ask, learn to ask simple request, one request in short terms rather than in paragraph forms. People tune you out when you deliver your message in paragraph, in long paragraphs and in negative paragraphs and in blaming, with a blaming energy. So when you ask, learn to make it short, sweet, to the point. It's also important that you rehearse it, write it down, let people look at it so that you can deliver your message clearly, confidently. All right, I see other familiar names. Bridget, welcome. Um, Susan, welcome. EK, good to see you all. And Victoria. So Victoria says, I've expressed, okay, let me get the message. I've expressed my needs to my husband multiple times. How do I get my spouse to understand my needs without sounding like I'm complaining to him? Very common issue with spouses. Yes, how do you express yourself without sounding like a nag or without sounding like you are negatively complaining? So, I've said this before. Whenever you ask, make sure that you are not standing up, passing in the hallway, and only have 5 minutes between going in and out. So, whenever you have something important to say, you want to set the stage, set the tone for it. Make sure that you are seated, there is eye contact, where there is no distraction, no noises, and that you have the person's attention. So, you can also set it up by saying, whenever we get a time this evening, I would like to have at least half an hour with you. So you set the tone for it. And then, your spouse may say, can you talk about it now? No, let's wait till when you have time this evening. So don't let their pressure and get you to talk immediately, set you up to fail. So you want to set the tone for it, set the place, be sure to identify a place, not standing up, not in the hallway, not in the bathroom where people can come and go or escape, or when they're uncomfortable, they can dart out easily. So once you set the stage, make sure that you have your what you want to say expressed clearly. You may want to write it down, and you want to state it in the direction you want it to go, rather than complain you don't do this, you never do this, you've never done this. Because once people hear those, they turn you off and they put on their barriers. So learn to ask in the positive direction. It means a lot to me when you do this. It means a lot to me when you focus on this. It means a lot to me when we get to work together as a couple. It means a lot to me when you support me in my parenting. So state it in the direction that you want it to go. State it in clearly rather than in a complaining, naggy, negative tone. So write it down rather than just off the cuff and deliver in paragraph form. Because after 2, 3 sentences, people will turn you off or tune you out. Okay, Santos has another question. How do you help trauma survivors who suppress or shut down their own needs as a way of protecting themselves from reliving the past trauma? So, how do you help trauma survivors? In the first place, we have to understand um, if they're willing to share about it or if they want to keep it packaged away. Many times people have a hard time sharing, and I don't know what the relationship is like. Is it a friendship or is it a relative? So many times people will share only in places where they feel heard, where they feel safe, where they feel like they are able to turn it, or where they're able to repackage it back so that it doesn't leave them bleeding or wounded. So whenever they share, if they open up, learn to take it in small bites. Don't just cut open the wound and let everything bleed out. So learn to say it in short bites and say it like, wow, you've shared a lot. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being open. I would love to hear more about it. It would be great if we can set more time to hear more about what happened to you when you were in Afghanistan, or what happened to you in your childhood or in your teenage years when you struggle with that. So you keep the door open once they start opening up, and you again always let them know you admire the courage for disclosing, because it means a lot to them. Because many times when people share, they don't see it as courageous. They just see themselves as more vulnerable and more broken. So continue to pat them on the back when they share bits and bits of information with you. And if they don't share, just say, I know it's hard. So you want to empathize with them. I know it's hard. I know it's rattling, and I know it's a very vulnerable position to be in, and I totally understand that. When you give people permission not to share, that is when they want to share more because they know that you're all ears and that you are giving them permission to be where they are. Okay, Serene has a question. How do I express my needs in a way that others do not interpret it as selfish? Very good question. Where others don't see it as selfish. So you have to think how, when you deliver something and how it lands and how people want to perceive it or how people want to read it is basically up to them. Because many times people, once it's delivered, people read according to their own issues as well. So many times you cannot control how people read it, but your job is to deliver and to be able to ask appropriately, ask respectfully, and to be able to respect yourself enough to deliver what you're struggling with and what you're asking for. Again, whenever you share, you don't always have to apologize, backpedal, and say things like, "Oh, I'm so sorry I've inconvenienced you. I probably have taken up too much time." So avoid these backpedaling behaviors. Once you share, leave it alone. Don't go touch it. Don't go apologize for it. And then whenever you want to share, you may want, if it's a sensitive issue, you may want to write it down and then read it to yourself, see how it sounds, whether it's clear, and then you deliver it. Again, always ask for time and place to deliver what you want to say. And if it doesn't land the first time, do a follow up. Don't go, "Oh yeah, he won ready, she won ready." And then you leave it alone and then you build resentments. So your job is keep trying and say, last time I don't know if I got my what I wanted to say clearly, but I would like to have another visit and talk about this that matters to me. So learn to be forward moving rather than just backpedaling and let it drop when the first attempt goes unheard. Because many times it takes multiple attempts for people to hear you. And when they know you're persistent and when you don't finish your request with a laughter, you don't punctuate with a laughter, then people know that, hey, this person is quite serious. All right, Brittany has a question or a thought. I have issues naming my needs in romantic relationships. How do I name a need when I'm still figuring it out myself? Awesome, awesome question. And this is a struggle that is common in a lot of romantic relationships. So let me make some guesses surrounding needs. So in a romantic relationship, could it be that you want to be heard? Could it be that you want your priorities to be valued? Could it be that you want quality time with the person? Or could it be that when you share, you do not want to be lectured, but you want to be heard? So identify what is it that you want and be able to list those if it's a list. So if you're struggling with emotions that you are uncomfortable with, emotions that are fuzzy in your headspace, share it with a friend first. And then once you get some thoughts surrounding it, it could be 2 or 3 major thoughts or themes, then learn to write it out and say, okay, I'm struggling with this. This is really what I want. I want to be heard. I want to be able for us to share on a regular basis. I want to be able to hear your thoughts so that we are reciprocating in being honest and transparent with each other. So learn to identify what you want. Write it down so that things are clear. Many times when you write it down, it becomes clearer. If you don't write it down, it keeps swimming in your head, and then you're like a gerbil, it's swimming in swampy waters, and that becomes very murky. All right, EK goes. How do you speak up for your needs at work when your boss is known for retaliating when employees speak up? Sticky situation, yeah. Yes, that is so many times when people retaliate, you have to kind of create a win-win situation. So you might be able to present it in a way that says, since we are heading in this direction and this is your idea of doing this, I wonder if we can do more of this. So you want to present it in the way that sounds like you're supporting the mission and vision of the workplace. And also, you want to create it in such a way that, since this is a mission, how can we add one more thing to it? Almost like you use a manipulation to your advantage that we are in this direction. So you want to present it like it's their idea so that they don't see you as a threat or a competition. So whenever you're in situations where people feel threatened, it might be important to come across as, your idea was great. So I'm trying to support you. And how can we add this to it? So you tag along and you kind of pat them on the back for such a magnificent idea that they presented. So you kind of have to learn to lie in a way that works to your advantage. Okay, Sandy goes, this is something my student ask me a lot. Mostly dealing with parent relationships. I'm afraid my needs won't be taken seriously. How do I share them with my parents? Yes, this is a common struggle of children, middle school children, and adolescents. So, how do you? I'm afraid to share my needs because they might not be taken seriously. So, as children, hold on. As a teacher, so I'm assuming you're working with, yes, in a classroom setting or in some agency. So, as a teacher, you may want to encourage these middle schoolers or high schoolers to share their needs when the parents are maybe driving them to school, from school, or when there are moments where there is personal time, where there is one-on-one time, because it's easier to set the tone when there's one-on-one time. And to train the student to say, this is very hard for me to share. So to set the tone, whatever you do in life, set the tone that for the situation so that people can take you seriously, so then people can prepare themselves so that when you do a preface statement and then you deliver your message, then people will take you seriously. To let the teen know that, I like it when you listen to me. So to let the parent know that what they are going to share is very important to them, and to not make fun of it or to not shame them or retaliate about it at a later time. So to let the parents know that it's hard to share in the first place and it's embarrassing when it's shared with other family members, when you're not willing for others to know about it. So to be able to share things in small bites because it's easier to deliver, and to be able to say that so people can hear you, because it takes about 8 repetitions for people to register and hear you clearer. So for them to learn to say the same phrases. This is important to me. I like it when you listen to me. I like it when you take me seriously. Focus on what they like and what's important to them. Okay, Zach has a question. What are some examples of reasons someone might not be, someone might become a people pleaser? So I'm assuming they're people pleaser because they go along with mainstream ideas support, rather than ask for what they want. So they go along with the flow. Some of the reasons, there are multiple reasons. So people pleasing could be a result of watching their parents cater to others, watching their parents mute themselves in a tense situation, watching their parents do what is acceptable in society or in church rather than speak up. So there are multiple reasons. And not having positive, strong examples of people who are honest or people who are intentional about what they share. So even as a parent, as a employee, it's important to learn to deliver your truths and not seal your truth and not mute it. Learn to say it and deliver in one line. Yeah, it's very important to me that we support each other at work. And one of my ideas is this. So I really appreciate it when I get support from the team. At home, it's very important that you support me when I do parenting decisions because it means a lot to me. It empowers me when you're behind me. So learn to state things in the positive. And when you do that, people will know that you're quite serious. And then people will do more supporting and more respectful behavior. So it's very important that you learn to say things in simple, short one liners because going on in paragraph form is the best way to turn people off. Because by the time you say your third sentence, people have already gone on to another topic, another meandering thought. So learn to state your needs in very short, positive terms. All right, Crystal, welcome. What is the best way to determine your own definite needs in close relationships? What are some ways to determine what you want in relationship to others? So to learn to identify your own needs is to also think about what is it that you are not happy with. What is in what situations that are sticky that you are uncomfortable with. So if you can identify it when people turn you off, when people turn you down, when people walk all over you. So look for those things, identify those things. What is it that you really don't appreciate, don't like? And then focus on then. So I don't like it when people just railroad me, when people just discount my thoughts. So you're looking for people to respect your thoughts. You're looking for people to hear you. Then learn to ask for those. It's very important to me when I express myself and that you are supportive and you hear me, you understand me. So think in terms of what is it that you are not comfortable with, and then turn it into what you really want and what is important to you. Okay, we have 1 more minute left. Yes, it's middle high school. Thank you. So Santos goes, why do some people, especially some men, children, teenagers, struggle with expressing their needs? They struggle mostly because they have not seen other people express themselves in healthy ways. Many times when people express, it could be explosive in anger or in retaliation. So it's very new for most people to see others express themselves with intentionality and with calmness and with deliberate honesty. So learn to express yourself in honest ways rather than suppress it. So I am going to close with a few quotes. Never make yourself feel guilty for expressing your heart. Never make yourself feel guilty for expressing yourself, your heart. The next quote is expressing yourself. Express yourself. Don't repress yourself. And lastly, your ability to express yourself confidently will allow others to respect you. Your ability to respect yourself confidently will allow others to respect you. What awesome questions. Thank you for showing up and for learning to ask for what you want. Next week is bridging the gap, turning misunderstandings into meaningful conversations. So bring your question, bring a friend, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Again, tonight we are grateful for Laurel Ridge for sponsoring this program. Again, they offer a variety of services. Be sure to call 210-491-3591. Laurel Ridge is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Have an awesome rest of your week and see you then.